Hi guys, so this is the first lecture of POM, that's Principles of Management. So before we start, just a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Sandhya Rao, working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. And in the subsequent videos, I'm going to take up the lectures of Principles of Management. So these are the topics that we are going to cover, and all these topics are from the Unit 1. So introduction, in which we'll be covering the nature and process of management, then the basic managerial roles and skills, then the nature of managerial work. Then there are different approaches to management, which are classical, human relations and behavioral, and system and contingency. So we're going to talk about that also. And what are the contemporary issues and challenges which the management have been facing so far. All right. So now before we start, this thing might be coming into your mind that what exactly management is all about. Time and again we have heard it, then, everything requires management, or, our parents also time and again keeps us telling us that, you should manage yourself, you should manage your studies, you should manage your time. So what is this management? See, management in a very layman language basically means that when you're trying to synchronize something, okay? So whenever you're trying to synchronize something so as to, to make it move smoothly, so that, our path becomes smooth. So if I talk about the specific definitions which are given by the different people, so the first one is that management is a set of activities directed at the efficient and effective utilization of resources in the pursuit of one or more goals. Now, as I've already told you that why, that, our parents time and again keeps on telling us that, you should manage your time, you should manage yourselves, you should conduct yourselves. Now, why are they actually telling all these things? Because they want us to be a good person. They want us to excel in our studies. That is why they tell us that, you should manage your studies, you should manage your time, because they want us to be efficient, because they want us to be a good person. So this thing is basically our goal. So whenever we are trying to manage something, there is an underlying goal which is always there, okay, which helps us, which guides us. So there is either one goal or more than one goal which directs us towards it. So management is basically a means to achieve the end goals. All right, so management is basically the efficient and effective utilization of resources. So whatever resources are available with you, you have to manage them effectively and efficiently. All right. Next definition is working with human, financial, and physical resources to achieve the organizational objectives by performing the planning, organizing, leading, and controlling functions. Now, also, management cannot be done on its own, okay? We require people, because people, or you can say the humans, are the ones who are actually going to manage. So who is going to conduct the management? Humans. So that is why management is connected with people. Then it also connects financial and physical resources. Now we all know that, humans on their own cannot do all the things. They need other resources as well. So if I want to, let's say if I want to get good marks in my examination, and then what are the things that I'm going to do? This is my goal, that I want to get good marks. And being a human, what are the other resources that I'm going to need? I'll be needing books. I'll be needing internet for other resources, all right, for other ebooks and e-journals and other resources which are available on the internet. And also, there might be certain other things for which I'll be requiring money as well. So, if I want to go to the market and I want to purchase a book, for that I'll be requiring financial resources as well. So, when I combine all these resources, the human resource, the physical resource, and the financial resource, and I'm trying to achieve a goal through a process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, then that is what management is called. So the first thing is that I have planned that, okay, I want to get good marks. Okay, this is my goal. I have, while I was planning, I have set a goal. I have set an objective. Now, the next thing will be, I'll be organizing the resources. What are the resources that I'll be needing? Books. I'll be buying the books from the market. and I'll be collecting books from the library as well. And whatever other resources are available, I'll be watching the video lectures available on the YouTube and all the other resources that I need. So organizing is all about that. The next thing is, I also need certain kind of directions, okay, from my mentors, from my elders. They will be leading me so that, you know, I'm moving in a one direction, or I'm moving in a direction which leads me directly towards my goal. And the next thing is controlling, which means that, you know, I also need to control certain things so that I'm not deviated from the path of my goal. So this is all management. Now, there is one more definition. Management is an art of knowing what to do, when to do, and see that it is done in the best and cheapest way. So whenever we are doing something, it comes to our mind that, you know, we have to do it in the best possible manner or in the best possible way. So we also have to be efficient when we are doing something. So management is about that as well. All right, so moving ahead, I also want you to see this video. So let's just watch it. So, all right, so you have watched the video. So what was in that video? So we could see that, you know, all the things, all the gadgets, all those equipments were very well synchronized. And even if there was a slight change in the position of even, let's say, one tool, then there could have been a blunder, okay? So this is what management is all about. So management ensures that we are working efficiently and we are working towards a goal, and we are working in a synchronized manner, in a systematic manner. Okay, so that is why management is very important. So now, if we discuss the nature of management, so the first thing is that it's goal oriented, which means that, you know, it always works towards a goal. We always see that, you know, whenever we are trying to manage something, we always have a goal in our mind, because if there is no goal in our mind, what exactly are we going to manage, or how we are going to do it? You know, if I don't have this goal in my mind that I want to score good marks, how do I know that, you know, what are the books that I'm going to study, or how much time should I devote for my studies? So all these things will be planned only when my goal have been determined. So the first thing, or the basic premise, or the preliminary step of management is to set a goal. All right. Next thing is it's universal. So management is not something which is applicable in the organizations only. Management is all pervasive. It's universal. It's a concept which is applicable almost everywhere. We can see it at our homes also. We can see it in our schools, in colleges, in hospitals, in corporates, everywhere. So let's start with the home example. We often see that, you know, our parents manage the financial budget of the house. Okay, they have already planned, all right, what are the expenses they are going to have, and from whatever sources they are going to have their income. So they plan all the other things accordingly. Second thing is, when we go in school, you know, there's first lecture, then there is second lecture, then there is a third lecture, then there is a lunch break. So all the things are well managed. All right, so it's not like, you know, all the teachers are coming together at one place, and, you know, they are getting confused that this is my lecture, I want to take this lecture. Everything is planned accordingly. You all have your timetables, and a teacher will come and take the designated lecture, and they will go to next class. So there is no hodgepodge or mismanagement. Everything is already planned and is moving in a systematic manner. Next example is, if you go to a hospital, you can see doctors, and there's a specific time for every doctor. So the doctor will sit for, say, let's say 3 hours in the OPD and then 3 hours in the operation theater. So this is the, or let's say he will be attending the other patients who are in the ICU or any other, or the patients who are admitted in the hospital. So this is all planned. All right. So it's a very universal concept. The next thing is, it's an integrative force. It helps to integrate the various components. How? We all know that management is not just about one person, it's about managing more than one person. In an organization, what does a manager do? He has to ensure that all the people are working efficiently in an organization. So there are so many people whom you have to manage. Or let's say, if we talk about an example of a school or a college, the head of the school or the head of the college, let's say the principal, he has to manage all the teachers. Now the teachers will be managing all the students. So it is an integrative force which brings together all the people. Okay. And it helps us to bring the best out of everyone. Okay. So it's the role of the manager to bring out the best of every person. So it's an integrative force. The Let's say, why do people work in an organization? Why do they work? Because they have certain goals in their mind, that they want to earn income and they want to sustain a living. Okay, they want to satisfy their needs, they want to satisfy their wants, and they want to earn money, and so that they could spend and earn their living. Now, from the organization point of view, they want to earn more profits. Okay, they also want to earn more profits, and they also want to flourish in life. They also want to increase the productivity and increase the marketability of their product, so on and so forth. Now, this management is something which brings together the employees and the organization. So it helps to bridge the gap between the two. Otherwise, there would be constant conflict between the two, that the employees will be on the side that, okay, we want more income, we want a hike in our income, we want bonus, and the organization would be always on the side that we want to cut our costs, so we don't want to give you a hike, and we want to increase our profits. But the management has a major role to play over here, and it integrates the people working in an organization towards the goal of the organization. So it's an integrative force. Next thing is social process. See, it's a social process because there are numerous people involved in management. So you cannot do it on your own. Whenever you're managing, you're talking about many people. Okay. So it's social process. You will be interacting with other people, and you will be knowing them. You will be knowing about their culture, about their attitudes, about their attributes, so on and so forth. So it's a social process. Okay. It's multidisciplinary. See, management is not a theory which has been developed overnight and based on a particular thing only. It is based on multiple disciplines. It is based on psychology also. It is based on scientific methods also. It is based on other historical events also. So there are many contributing disciplines which have formulated the theory of management. The next thing is, it's a continuous process, which means you cannot say that once you have achieved your goal, you're done with the management. Again, there are other goals and objectives you're going to achieve. So it's a continuous process. It's a never ending process. Once one objective have been achieved, you will try to strive for another objective. So it's a never ending process. It's a continuous process. So management can never actually end. It's not that and why is it so? Because we operate on this principle, on this fundamental, that we are going to continue for a future, for an indefinite future period of time. Okay, let's say if I talk about a business. Now business are based on this theory, or based on this assumption that we are going to continue for an unforeseen period of time. And that is why that they prepare their financial statements on every year, and or on yearly basis. So that is why they know that once they have achieved a particular target for a given year, they're not going to end up or wind up their business in the next year. they're going to continue. So that is why they're going to continue with the cycle all over again. So it's a continuous process. Next thing is it's intangible, you cannot see it. Tangible is something which can be seen, and intangible means something which cannot be seen. So it's intangible, which means that you cannot see it. The essence of management, the management is an unseen or invisible force. It cannot be seen, but definitely its presence can be felt everywhere in the form of results. Okay, once if you're managing yourself properly, and if there's another person who is not managing himself, then you could clearly see the difference between the two people. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Let's say there's a person who is who has already planned his timetable, that he'll be devoting 3 hours for financial management, then 2 hours for principles of management, and then 3 hours for foundations of international business. Now there is another person who is who have not planned anything, who is just randomly studying any subject all of a sudden, and there is no specific time that he is going to devote to a particular subject, so he's just doing it in a very hodgepodge manner. So do you think that he will be more successful, or the first person will be more successful? Definitely the first person, who is managing himself, who is doing it, who's doing everything in a very planned manner, in a systematic manner, will be more successful. The next thing is management is an art as well as science. Now we all know that an art is something which is creative, where you apply your creative skills, and which is very personal to a human. Okay, so you cannot journalize art. A person may be good in something. Let's say if I'm very good at cooking, then that's an art. Let's say if another person is very good at drawing or painting, then that's an art, because he's applying his own creative skills, and there's a personalized touch to it. I cannot copy the kind of pictures, the kind of drawings, the kind of sketches that person is making. Similarly, that person cannot imitate um, my style of cooking. There will always be a difference between my style of cooking and another person's style of cooking. So it's an art. Likewise, management is also an art, because when a person is, when a manager is there, when he's trying to manage the people, the kind of behavior he's going to use, or let's say there are two managers, manager one and manager two. Now both these manager will have their own, are having their own intellects, okay, and they're different. Both have studied the same management principles, both have gone to a same school, both have graduated from the same college. Still, they will be different in the application of those principles. The way the first manager is going to apply those principles will be different from the way the second person is going to apply the principle. All right. So that is why it's an art. The next thing is science. Now, science is something which is based on certain principles. So anything which is based on principles, and where you can test something, or you have developed a theory, then that is known as science. Likewise, management is also a subject, is a field of study which have been developed over a period of time, and we have developed those principles after experience. So we have tested them on the people, that whether this principle is going to work on the people or not, and then we have developed those theories and principles. So it is a science as well. So this is all about the nature of management. So it's a continuous process, it's multidisciplinary, and it's a social process, because the human factor is the most important element in any management, and it's an integrative force. So if you could see the pictures over here, we are trying to integrate the people. The people are coming together. So when we are managing them, we are trying to we are trying to make them come closer. And it's universal, it's all pervasive. You can see it almost everywhere. It's goal oriented. We are always working towards a goal. So this is all about the nature. So these are the questions that I have framed for you guys. So the first question is that you have to define what management is. The next thing is, how is management all pervasive? Which means you have to explain with the help of an example that why you feel that management is all pervasive. So you will be explaining about the different scenarios. You can talk about your house, you can talk about your school, you can talk about your college, or or you can talk about any place where you have seen management happening. Okay. So this is all about today's lecture. And this was just an introduction based class in which I introduced you with the topic management, what management is all about. So in the subsequent lectures, we'll be talking about what are the different process of management, what are the other things relating to the management. So, all right, guys, thank you.